Day. But let's go out live now to another breaking news story that we have for you. We got another live feed. This time we go out to Los Angeles area for a police chase that is going on right now. Let's listen in. All right, we are waiting for Fox 11 to bring some of the play-by-play here, but we are going to keep on this live feed here for you. Obviously, a very tense situation that is always seems to happen in Southern California with police chases, and we are hoping that eventually this suspect will come to terms that they will be arrested here soon, because we do not want a situation where somebody innocent is going to get hurt, or if this person could crash and then hurt themselves as well. All right, we are learning now. We do have Fox 11 with their play-by-play. Let's listen right now to their coverage.
Highway Patrol, they have not mentioned anything like that. They're basically saying the original one is just a cell phone infraction, but that pursuit continuing, speed staying right about freeway speeds, maybe a mile or two over. But right now, it's very light traffic, 5 freeway, southbound. Are they going to pit them on the freeway? That's kind of a question as well. Probably not at these high speeds. I have actually seen a couple of pursuits where when the freeway was empty, even at 55, they've made an attempt to do that pit maneuver. I don't know if this warrants that, because basically, like we've been saying, the original infraction, just that cell phone. But the pursuit continues at freeway speeds, southbound 5, now in the Sylmar area.
Right, you wonder what if it's worth it for CHP to engage in a pursuit like this over multiple counties and cities and throughout the area here now into the San Fernando Valley, if the original wand is just for a cell phone infraction and violation. Again, the new law taking place just this year, where it makes it illegal for any driver to have anything in their hands, obviously, and cell phones are where we get a lot of information, right, including GPS. If you're an Uber driver, you're getting those calls in, Lyft driver, so many things. If you're a delivery driver for a food delivery service too, everything is on your phone. But no matter what, those phones cannot be in your hands. Now, a lot of times I have heard anecdotally that if you do get pulled over for this infraction, sometimes you might just get away with a warning, right, because the law is so new. But in this case, this is the total 180 in terms of response, because now you're seeing a full-fledged pursuit over the guy because of the fact he broke the law while having a cell phone in his car, in his hands.
Definitely. And, these, like you said, I mean, for the most part, I would have taken and I think most reasonable people would have just taken the chance, like, okay, I'm going to get pulled over. Maybe I had my phone in my hand. Definitely transitioning now onto the southbound 405 freeway, kind of losing it there behind the hills, but we'll get a little bit closer. We're not up here by ourselves. But the pursuit continuing, and California Highway Patrol, they are talking about maybe trying to do something else here to try to bring this thing to an end. That one shot, I'm going to wait for just a moment or two, kind of showing you what's going on. Now, I understand we're going freeway speeds out here, and, it's California, Southern California, and I know nobody would be going faster than the speed limit, but in this case, it does seem like the California Highway Patrol, the last vehicle there, actually kind of controlling the amount of other vehicles coming up onto the actual pursuit. You can see a number of cars right there. Traffic starting to build now on that southbound 405 as they are behind this chase. A lot of times when we report something like that, those vehicles are going much faster than freeway speeds, and that's the reason why we don't see any kind of backup like that. But the pursuit continuing on out here. I might have passed it or lost it there. Let me find it real quick. But that chase continuing, in California Highway Patrol, they just want this vehicle to pull over. And as it stands right now, this guy just being I don't want to say jerk, but all he's got to do is pull over.
Yeah.
But keeping those freeway speeds, it's just really unusual. It's like, again, when have we had a chase where we said, no, this all makes sense. We understand totally what's going on. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and it probably doesn't make sense to those officers either. It's like you're going the speed limit, maybe even a little less than, as we're transitioning now still on the southbound 405, but that's 118 traffic now that's blending into it. And of course, course, they're going to slow down because they hear the lights and sirens. But basically, a rolling roadblock is occurring out here as this vehicle is going to be doing freeway speeds as we're making our way southbound on the 405 freeway, now getting into the Van Nuys, well, North Hills. The next one will be Van Nuys area. But again, it's getting a little bit more traffic out there.
Right.
California Highway Patrol likes it a little bit better when it's just them and the suspect. But how they're going to bring it to an end, we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, and the choice that law enforcement has to make is whether or not they continue this pursuit or whether or not it's worth it and maybe back off, because you are talking about personnel involved and other vehicles on the road, traffic. The threat to the public as well is the infringement of being on your cell phone. That much of a public threat that they have to chase this guy throughout the San Fernando Valley. But as you go south on the 405, thankfully, it's just 1:30 on a Friday, but that traffic will increase, especially if this silver Corolla decides to maybe go over the hill, right? They're going to experience a lot more traffic as this car travels south on the 405. This is a very busy corridor, as you know, through the San Fernando Valley. So it's interesting to see how they are proceeding with this pursuit. If the original want, as you mentioned, is a driver wanted for using their cell phone while in the car. So it doesn't seem to match the action here, right? The infraction and the response.
Nope.
But clearly, maybe law enforcement officials know stuff that we don't know. And you don't know.
Looks like we're getting off the freeway, Dylan.
Okay, great. They're getting off the freeway here in the North Hills area off the 405, and you don't know at this point if there's another passenger. Oh, it looks like maybe he's pulling over and stopping. Let's see if we can push in. Or he's just stuck in traffic.
Yeah, we're just we're just getting stuck in traffic. I'm looking out the window. I believe that, definitely going to be the Nordhoff off-ramp. Always a little slow and go right there, depending upon which way he makes a turn. If he heads towards us, that would be the eastbound way. But you can see those officers. Doors are already open. They're ready to pounce. They're taunt like tigers. If they see that opportunity, they might be able to. Maybe even, we haven't seen something like that in the past, but they might actually even try to block this guy in, as they are saying that it was just that. Look at that, getting out of the car. But you know, as soon as this person has that opportunity, he's going to start going. And maybe not. There he goes. He's on the roll again.
Wow.
The thing is getting off the freeway right here. You mentioned that, Sandy, is just the fact that if the California Highway Patrol, not the ones to kind of just walk away from a pursuit. We've seen the Sheriff's Department, we've seen the LAPD, where it gets too risky, gets too much of a problem, and they will definitely basically just back off, as it would be. Taking a peek here through some trees right there. I'm not sure what the what the issue is right now, but definitely waiting for that vehicle to get a green light, and we'll see which way they're going to go. But California Highway Patrol, they don't back off unless they get off the freeway and they're out of their jurisdiction. Now, is the LAPD going to pick this thing up? That one is a good question. I would venture to say no, just because of the infraction, unless they have some other information about what's going on. Making our way westbound here on Nordhoff as we're getting over by Monroe High School. I'm just wondering, it's 1 o'clock, so it's still too early, so we don't have the kids out there. Traffic in this area gets packed right around the 3 o'clock hour, but right now, just moving along very slowly. We're making our way westbound there on Nordhoff, and again, it seems like obeying all the traffic laws. The only thing is a failure to yield. The big one is the traffic is that he is not pulling over. He's not stopping. Are they going to use the pit maneuver? You know what? I wonder. That one might be hey, let's weigh this out. Are we going to pit this guy because, it is just an infraction for the cell phone? But right now, continuing on very slowly, making our way towards Van Nuys Airport. And I have a feeling, I was just going to talk to Dylan about that. I have a feeling that one of the reasons why we're staying here and letting this vehicle go away from us is we're waiting for aircraft or the ability to pass the airport, waiting for aircraft have to land. So we're going to play this end-of-lens game until Van Nuys Airport clears us. But you can see it right there, very slow moving, and just driving over some new pavement out there. That seems to be the popular thing out here in the valley. A lot of street closures due to that. But at any rate, stopped again. This would be an opportunity for law enforcement maybe to get in front of him, maybe to block him in, maybe try to bring this thing to an end.
CHP officers coming out, but we'll see what happens with the driver. And, you know, it's not like the movies. You would think that, oh, there's so many patrol vehicles behind this driver that one can pull up next to him and box him in, but it doesn't work that way because they have to keep in mind maybe this person is unstable mentally, maybe they have a gun, maybe they have a weapon, so you can't just pull up right next to them or block them in on all four sides. It doesn't work that way. There are tactical arrangements. Law enforcement are well trained for in terms of responding to a situation like this where the unknown can happen in a split second, and that is what they have to be cautious of. Thankfully, there was a group that looked like of teenagers on the corner there in front of the Yum Yum Donuts, and they told those kids to move. They quickly booked it away instead of standing there and watching the scene, so that's good. You want to make sure the public's safe, but clearly they're trying to get some space around this silver Corolla that they've been following for a little bit now. Again, the initial infraction was just the driver being on a phone while driving, which is against the law. But it is a new law, but you must be completely hands-free at this point, and you will get pulled over. Maybe if you have
definitely
a nice guy, we'll give you a warning, but right now you can see how serious it is.
And you know what's interesting too, it's like this is so LA right here. This is actually so the valley, is you can see a lot of these vehicles, they just don't even want to deal with it. They're like, you know, okay, we'll just go through the parking lot, let's get around this. This might be here for a minute or two. I know this light is long because this is an area where I grew up, but this seems to be a lot longer. There you go, windows open, and it seems like the keys are being dramatically dropped out the window, dangled. There they go, they're onto the ground. Hopefully we're going to see that driver step out here in just a moment or two, and we will find out if it is a male or a female driver. But right now the light turning green finally, but that car definitely not going to be going anywhere. A lot of curiosity in the area. I do see a lot of folks kind of coming around the corner, looking out what's going on, probably hearing the helicopters and the sirens. But the fact that the keys are out, that doesn't mean that that driver's out. This could turn into something entirely different out here. California Highway Patrol, they are following it by the book, by the letter. And you were mentioning too about the how they handle things like this, but it is protocol. They do not go ahead and get in front of this person or create a situation where they put officers or the suspect into a dangerous situation. Door definitely open, Sandy, and the dramatics. Oh my goodness.
Right.
What is going to happen next?
Here he comes. Here's the driver. Slowly getting out. Right. The dramatics of it all. And you can see the officers telling him, directing him, come on, get out. There he is. There he's out. Hands up. Okay. Face
Seems
mask.
very nonchalant about it. Like, oh, come on. Really? That seems to be the attitude, the body language. But the officers from California Highway Patrol, they take this very, very seriously. We watch it, we kind of giggle, we laugh sometimes, we always wonder what is going on. But for the officers, the law enforcement involved, this is extremely serious. And like you said, Sandy, in a heartbeat, this could change. You know, maybe this is just an act. I don't think so in this case, but a lot of times that is something that officers have to think about. And I know you did that VR stuff with the weapons out. You know, those officers, they're holding lethal weapons, and you know, a quick move, something could change very, very quickly. Hopefully, I know in this case it will not happen, but it is a very dangerous situation for the officers and, of course, that suspect until those cuffs are on and that person is technically in custody. And, of course, they're going to have to clear that vehicle. Again, this all coming to an end at the corner of Woodley and Nordhoff, near one of my favorite Starbucks, giving them a shout out. I'm sure somebody's watching down there, but definitely coming to an end and dramatic. Even though very slow going, all this overuse of a cell phone in a vehicle.
Make this be a good lesson to everyone out there. You must be hands-free. That is the law. And as this case shows, you will be penalized and pulled over if you don't follow those laws. Thank you so much, Stu, for your coverage, you and the crew up there. Thankfully, this is a safe and a good ending to all this. Nobody was hurt. And now they are trying to clear the vehicle. And hopefully everyone will get on with their Friday and the weekend. Thanks so much. We'll have much.
All right, that was the coverage there. Fox 11 Los Angeles. We saw the arrest there of that police chase, and we brought it all to you live, raw, and always a direct right here. All right, moments ago, everyone, this was the look right outside of the White House. We did have President Trump leaving on Marine One, heading to Air Force One at Joint Base Andrews. And this was just moments ago. We did see President Trump going down the steps there of Marine One, and now going to be heading up the steps of Air Force One, heading to West Palm Beach, Florida for the weekend there, where he will be staying at his Mar-a-Lago estate. And again, a big-time meeting took place earlier today between President Trump and the Ukrainian President Zelensky. And we are still awaiting a news conference from Zelensky, still seeing that might be happening right outside across the street from the White House. So we'll be definitely keeping an eye on all of that here for you on Live Now from Fox. But this was just moments ago of President Trump heading up the steps now, heading to Florida for the weekend. So we will take a 2-minute break here while we do have it. Here is the scene of where Zelensky is expected to speak to the media. We'll be keeping an eye on that shot here for you on Live Now from Fox. In the meantime, let's take that 2-minute break. We'll be back with more in just moments.